Hi, my name's David Langton Gilks. I was since being diagnosed with a medulloblastoma at the age of 11, which is basically a cancerous brain tumour in my head. I proceeded to have 2 brain surgeries on my head, obviously, and then followed by 6 weeks of daily radiotherapy with weekly chemotherapy alongside it. I then, as part of my treatment, proceeded to have 48 weeks of combined chemotherapy, which involved 3 different drugs. At which point I had to, because of the surgeries I had before, I had problems with pressure in my head. So I then had to I had to have this thing called a shunt to deal with this pressure. Though so far I've had around 7 of them, because they kept on breaking down. I mean, after that I proceeded to relapse. Yeah, so I got my cancer back in my spine. At which point they gave me palliative chemo, which was basically just to kind of try and stop it for as long as possible. Though I was very lucky in the fact that not long after my next MRI scan, after my next MRI scan, it had all gone away. So I then proceeded to have I then proceeded to have high dose chemotherapy on top of stem cell therapy, which was basically this. I had a lot of chemo during the 48 weeks, combined chemo, and this was kind of that kind of amount, except in the space of around 6 or 7 days. At the moment, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
Hi, I'm his mum, Sasha, and listening to him tell you that makes me feel proud, sad and guilty all at the same time. And I guess it's because if I'd known that children could get brain tumours, I'd heard of leukemia, I've seen the telly adverts, I might have got him to hospital earlier and maybe he wouldn't have had to have had all of that treatment. And that's the thing, I know what to look for, how to spot the signs of meningitis in a child, and I think most parents do, but I had absolutely no idea how to spot the signs of a brain tumour in a child. And yet your child has got the same risk of getting both those things, so it's roughly 1 in 600. I also didn't know that 1/4 of children's cancers are in the brain, and they are the biggest cancer killer in children by a mile. So we're talking roughly 2 coachloads of children a year, which I was so shocked when I discovered this. So we've got, as far as I'm concerned, a major public awareness problem and a major funding problem. So when HeadSmart was started last year in London, I became obsessed. And they've produced these little cards like the meningitis campaign with how to spot symptoms. And the thing is, if I'd had this card, it folds like that, so you can put it in your wallet or you can stick it in your medicine cabinet and you've got it for reference. If I'd had this, I think I could have got him to hospital about 3 weeks earlier and probably saved him all those 7 shunt operations. Because the thing is, I didn't know how to link the symptoms. So for example, a persistent headache. He had a headache last week, let's say, and then this week he was sick, but of course I didn't know that you need to link those 2 together. So then the other thing they then say to watch out for is balance and coordination problems. Now, he did actually have those, but I discovered later that he was just hiding them. He was just trying hard not to wobble, so of course I didn't realise. Then abnormal eye movements or blurred or double vision. Again, if I'd had this, I'd have known what question to ask. And so in fact, then I could have said, are your eyes okay? And he would have said, well, no, I'm having these really weird flashing in my eyes, which is quite common in children. As it was, he didn't say anything, and I didn't know to ask. Behaviour change. Well, he was too placid, but obviously that sounds ridiculous, going to a GP and saying he's being too placid. And all of these things on their own look like a virus, but it's when you start to link them together, that's when you have to take it seriously. Fits or seizures, if he'd had one of those and he didn't, I'd have gone straight to the hospital. And then the last one, and this is for children of 5 to 11, he was 11, abnormal head position, like a stiff neck, and toddlers often get a tilt and they start to fall over. He had that on the last morning when the GP had told us to go to hospital, but the local hospital was sort of trying to fob me off. But I have to say that when he was sick that morning and he said, "I've got a stiff neck," I knew something was really wrong. So this card is brilliant, and I'm trying to get these into every children's school bag in the nurseries and primary schools in my county, and then I'm going to start to work outwards. And the thing is that we are 50% slower at picking these up in children than the rest of the developed world. So if you can share this video clip and share this information and click on the HeadSmart link on this page, we are going to get this information out there much, much, much faster, because I don't just want us to catch up with the rest of the developed world. I want us to be the fastest at diagnosing these children, because at the moment we've got toddlers with non-cancerous, curable brain tumours that are dying completely unnecessarily. So please share this.